Hi guys, I wanted to make a video on going to the gym as a skinny or a very skinny guy. Um, and specifically a very skinny guy that wants to build both strength and muscle. So a little bit of background about me. So I'm 28 years old. I've been going to the gym consistently for 11 months. And I used to be incredibly skinny. I'm around 185 centimeters, which is almost 6 feet 1, and I weighed around 64 kilos, which is 141 pounds. And currently, I'm weighing 73 kilos, and 73 kilos is 161 pounds, which is, I'm still definitely on the skinny side, but now I'm not, I don't have the stick arms anymore, I'm not very weak anymore because I used to be, very, very, very weak. And that was not because that is necessarily my nature. It's because I had an accident, severe electrocution 2.5 years ago, and that electrocution really, it had a big impact on me. I had a lot of burns. I need to get skin grafts. I needed to wear compression garments, compression clothes, over most of my body. I'm lucky that my face only got like some first and second degree burns, so you don't see anything, which is very good. It was quite a thing. So that's why I was not allowed to exercise for almost 1.5 years, and I basically lost all my strength. And I also got some nerve damage initially from the electrocution, and now it's all gone. But it was not. I didn't have to start from zero, but basically from below zero. So, but that actually gave me a lot of insights on how, as a complete beginner and as a skinny guy, maybe also with very little strength, how you can start going to the gym and make sure that you get your results and don't get discouraged. Keep on going, keep getting stronger, keep gaining a little bit of muscle here and there, and eventually, get stronger. So I wrote down quite a few notes to make it at least somewhat structured. Just as a bit of a background, like now I weigh 73 kilos, and that is actually a little bit more than what I weighed before the accident. So I was never really a big guy. I was always a skinny guy. So just to give that context, that it's not so that, I just started exercising and, I used to weigh like 85 kilos and now it's coming back easily or something like that. That's not really how it is, because 73 kilos that I weigh now is the most that I ever weighed. So just to give that context. So I wrote down 8 points on some of the lessons that I learned. It's definitely not exhaustive because that would, take me, 1 hour to explain all of that. Just let's start with the first point. So the first thing that is very important is to focus on yourself. Like, you have to realize that there are guys in the gym that have been training for 10 years, 15 years, guys also that maybe do physical work as a profession. Let's say, furniture movers. You don't have to compare yourself with those guys. You just have to compare yourself, not even to the average guy, just to yourself. Another thing to realize is that most gym goers, even the average gym goer, is way stronger than the average person. Like, it's ridiculous. Like now, after 11 months of training consistently, like 2 to 3 times a week, I have about the strength of the average guy that is not going to the gym. But the average gym goer, like, I don't even come close. Like, the average gym goer does like almost double the weight that I do. It's crazy. So don't compare yourself to those guys, and just trust that you will get stronger and bigger if you love what you're doing and if you're consistent. I mean, of course, you can also go to the gym when you don't love to do it, but then at some point, I feel that it's going to be very difficult because discipline is limited by willpower, but interest and passion for something, love for something is basically like going to the gym for me because I love doing it. It's basically just limited by either extreme busyness or by injuries. That's basically, or like sickness or whatever. That's basically the only limits that I feel I have because I love going to the gym. I don't have to push myself going to go to the gym. I just rather it's a country like I had to sometimes hold myself back because I actually wasn't recovered from the previous workout, and I've noticed that for me it's best to fully recover from a workout and only then go and train that body part again. So that was point number one, just focus on yourself. Point number two is volume. When you're just starting out, don't go for too many sets because if you're quite weak or if your muscles are not used to exercise, if you haven't done any serious exercise for years and years, like every tiny bit of workout that you do will trigger your muscles to get stronger. And like literally when I first started out, my workouts, they were taking me like 10-15 minutes because then I already felt, and in the beginning I was doing full body, because after 10-15 minutes I already felt like I've done enough because I came from like nothing. That's how weak I'd become after 1.5 years of wearing like compression suits, hardly able to move freely, hardly able to move my neck because the suit came till here. And for me, like, just like for example taking a thing like this and like doing like a few bicep curls or something with that would already be enough for my arms. Like it's crazy. Just know that don't do too much. Don't go and start like a full workout program for intermediate or advanced lifters. Then you're just probably gonna get injuries or gonna get like tendonitis or stuff like that. It's not worth it. Then the third point is weights. It's very important to learn the right form and to focus on good form over high weights. That's very important. And even don't look too much at the reps that you're doing. Focus on doing the good form, because otherwise you're just gonna get injured. And if you're a very young person, if you're like 16-17 years old and you don't have like an injury background like I have, then you might be able to get away with training your first year with terrible form, but then at some point you're gonna get a body that is injury prone, that has a lot of aches and pains, and you might become, if you keep training like that, then you can be 32 and you're an old man basically. You get like bad knees, you get back pain and all. So it's better to avoid it from the start. But of course, as you go, you will learn. Like it's a continuous learning process. Like almost every workout still today, I've done like 80 workouts or something, or maybe even more by now. Like almost every workout that I do, I learn something new. It's really crazy about like this exercise, oh, I should not do this exercise. This exercise, I have to maybe not do my movement like this, or I have to do like more range of motion or less range of motion or something like that. It's a continuous learning journey. It's basically an art form. So let's say, in my specific case, if you're recovering from an accident or something like that, expect that your first months you might not really be like training or lifting heavy weights or doing like full-on strength training, because you might have some, like I for example had a lot of shoulder discomfort because I think it was because I was wearing pressure garments for 1.5 years, constantly putting pressure here on the shoulder, and my shoulders, they were in a really bad state. And every time that I tried to, for example, train my chest, I could do like one decent rep and then I was already limited by my shoulders, so I could basically not train my chest for like months and months and months until I resolved the shoulder issue by going, physical therapy and so on. So of course, if you're a true beginner and you don't have an injury history, that's of course a lot better. and you might be able to train like normally way faster, but just be aware of that. Like don't train through, let's say, like whatever it is, like for example, like tendon discomfort or something like that, or like get some wrist pain or whatever. Like don't train through it. Like really, like if it's a little bit of muscle soreness, a little bit here and there, you know, of course that is actually to be expected, that you have a little bit of muscle soreness sometimes when you start a workout and you say, well, I'm still gonna do it. You can't do that. You have to just discover like how your body works. Just find it out how it works. Can you train with muscle soreness? Can you not train? Like I, for example, because I had in the past, I had a bit of tendonitis in my arms, and I noticed that it's better for me to recover fully before I train my arms again. But it might not be the case for you. You really have to find it out for yourself. So yeah. Okay, so then on the mindset, this is a bit of a tricky thing. Like when you enter the gym, most likely, unless it's gonna be like maybe like a very expensive gym specifically designed for like maybe older people, or like when it's a bit like physio and gym combined. But if you go to like a normal commercial gym, then you're probably gonna be the weakest person in the gym most of the time. If you're a complete beginner, or at least one of the weakest people in the gym, that's normal. That's completely normal. Like even now after 11 months, I'm still one of the weaker guys in the gym. That's just how it goes, and you just have to accept that you will not be able to lift as heavy as those guys. And some of those guys, they might, you know, not take you seriously. Like they look at you like, what are you doing? Like doing bicep curls with 4 kg. I was literally in the beginning, I was doing bicep curls with like 3 or 4 kg because my arms were, I mean, I literally had some nerve damage also in my arms. So maybe that was also the thing. But like I was like, and then you see guys doing bicep curls with 20 kg. Like it's just ridiculous. But you just have to focus on yourself. You do your thing, and bit by bit you get stronger. Now I do like bicep curls with like 8 kg, which is still lighter compared to most guys. But you know, it's just your process. You do what you do, and you do your thing, and don't focus on the other guys. Focus on good form, because there's so many guys that, for example, you see the guys, the skinniest guys, are doing like 12 kg bicep curls, and they don't, you know, the way that I do a bicep curl is something like this. Like I tense the bicep, and I do like the whole time. I don't do like this. I do like tense my bicep the whole time. Boom, and then when you're at the top, squeeze a little bit more, and then you go down again. That's how I do bicep curls. Like, if you train like that, you can only do like 60 or maybe 70% of the weight compared to like this and that. It's like, that's nothing. Like, you really have to do something that works for you, that works for your body. And for me, it's rather like slow movements where I feel the body contract, because otherwise I just feel that I'm getting injuries. Do I get more muscle growth from doing the slower movements? I think it, you know, for me it works. I see progress. I'm actually, you know, I've never weighed this much in my life, 73 kg. So, and you know, I feel I'm getting stronger and stronger. So it's good. Of course, I'm still far removed from the strong guys, also probably with my history of the old accident and stuff. But you know, it's just important to be aware. Like, focus on yourself. Some guys, they will look at you and like let's say there's only one machine for a specific exercise, and it's a popular exercise in your gym. If you're at a busy gym, then sometimes people, they will look at you like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you know, you're doing this with low weight. Like, what are you doing? Like, I want to train this. But just know that most people in the gym are actually quite nice. Like even the very big guys, like most of the time they're actually nice people. Like most people actually have good intentions. Sometimes there are some rude people, but don't be discouraged by them, and just focus on yourself. Because if you try and imitate what they are doing at an intermediate stage or advanced stage, you're just going to get injured or you're not going to get any results. Like sometimes I see guys, let's say for example 3 or 4 like young guys, 16, 17 years old, they go to the gym together, and one guy has been training for a year and the other guys, they're just new to the gym, and they want to do like the same weights, of course, which is impossible unless you have like crazy genetics. And you know what they do? They do like, and they say that they've done bicep curls. Of course, that's nonsense. Like, and then those guys, you know, if you do that long enough, then you get injuries. I know guys that are my age and then started going to the gym at 16, and now they cannot run anymore. They cannot run anymore because their knees are just completely destroyed. And so, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I'm 70 years old, I still want to be able to run. I still want to be able to, you know, lift things back pain free. So that's why my approach is not about, you know, getting as strong as possible or as big as possible, as fast as possible. No, it's about seeing it long term. And for example, my goal is to get to 80 kg, and I have like certain strength goals. I have like I wrote down like some 10 exercises where I have a certain strength goal I want to get to eventually. And like I don't put an exact timeline, but my idea is like in like 3 or 4 or 5 years, something like that. And so yeah, just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't compare yourself to guys online that either have insane genetics or like take some kind of drugs, or maybe used to be big in the past and then they have muscle memory working for themselves. Like for example, about muscle memory is, in the past there was a period where I did some exercises and I was at about 71 kg, and so actually I went from 64 to 70, 71 quite easily. It took like 4 or 5 months. But then in the 6 or so months after that, I only gained like 2 kg, because that is like new muscle. I've never been there, and so it you know, it takes quite a long time. So another thing about exercises that I wanted to add, like the next point, exercises. Yeah, so I feel it's very important to master an exercise. Like every time that you do a new exercise, watch tutorials on it and watch different tutorials, and some tutorials, you know, some range of motions will work for you, some won't work for you. It's very important for me to do exercises pain-free, and sometimes I have to do an exercise like I try the exercise like I do 2 or so sets or 3 sets, and I feel that actually my muscle is done for now, but it didn't really feel good. Then the week after I do the exercise again until I perfect it. And sometimes I feel I'm not able to get the exercise right, then I just stop it, I do another exercise. Or for example, there's the thing like the pec deck machine where you do like this, and I just felt that every time that I did it with both hands, I just always had some pain like in my chest or my shoulder every time that I tried it. I tried it so many times, and I was like, I just watched some videos of doing it with a single arm, and that felt way better, and I didn't have that same irritation anymore. So you just have to like see what works for you, and notice or be aware that bodybuilding or strength training is an art form. Like you can perfect it and perfect it and perfect it, and you have to find your own style basically. So that's also very important. Okay. Then about food. So when I was starting out, I was weighing 64 kg. My goal was to get to around, first it was 75, then I noticed, well, actually, I can probably get to a bit more. So then I put it to 80 kilos, and about the same body fat. Like my body fat, it's very difficult to say how much it is, because depending on which machine that you use, it can differ a lot. But my body fat is like, let's just say it's rather low. Like I have a six pack when I don't flex, like a slight six pack, and when I flex, I have a strong six pack. And that is basically what I already had that at the beginning, and I want to maintain that even up to 80 kg. So I want to have more or less the same amount of body fat and just 16 kg of mostly muscle, maybe a little bit of fat, mostly muscle. So that is basically my goal. And that means that's quite a big change, okay? If you want to gain like 16 kilos, which is like something like 35 pounds or maybe a little bit more, let's say 35 pounds. That's quite a lot. So what I did in the beginning was I wanted to gain weight fast. I wanted to gain strength fast, but then I noticed because I had some injuries, I could actually not really get stronger that fast because I had to first get rid of like the discomfort. So yeah, it was not a fast journey from the strength side, and if you're not really getting stronger, like it's also very difficult to really gain a lot of muscle. So what I did at the beginning was I was drinking a lot of milk because milk contains a little bit of everything. It contains fats, it contains some protein. I was drinking like the high fat milk. Contains even some carbs. So, but I was drinking like 1.5 liters of milk, and I could do that for some time. But after, I was doing it intensely for like 10 days or 2 weeks, and at some point I started to get like congested feeling, or I just didn't feel fresh at all. Like, or it starts to even show a little bit on the skin. Like, and then I started to realize like, well. Maybe I have to try something else. And I tried protein shakes, but protein shakes, like it's just a ton of garbage. Like it's just crazy what's all in there. Like even if you buy like the high quality ones, I still felt there was a bunch of garbage. So it was so much sugar in there. Even if you go for the ones that are said to be low sugar and all, my teeth were just like I felt my teeth decaying just by drinking. It was crazy. So after a few days of doing that, I felt like no, that's not the thing for me either. I cannot stand it. So then I was like, well, let's just see this as a long-term journey. Like, let's see this as a thing. Like, I want to work out for my life, so why should I necessarily get jacked in a year or whatever? And I also don't have the ambition to become a professional bodybuilder. I want to just be fit, strong, be functional. Actually, functional over looks. Like, I want to be pain-free. I want to be strong, like when I'm lifting furniture, and I don't want to have like back pain after lifting furniture. I want to be able to lift my girlfriend up, like things like that, and just like functional fitness, right? That's basically what I want, but mostly fitness a little bit more on the strength side than the endurance side. Like I do a little bit like 3 minutes of cardio when I'm doing a leg workout, before the leg workout, but that's basically what I do from cardio. Because I feel that the way my energy works is I'm not really that much of the endurance type. Like I used to do it in the past, like cycling and all, but strength training feels better to me. So that's why I try to focus mostly on that. And sometimes I go for a walk here and there, so I've got some endurance, but I like strength training more and it feels better to me. But yeah, so basically what I started doing was I started to look at it from the long-term perspective, and so basically I just focus on not getting that feeling of strong hunger, and then just not eating. Like when I feel like a strong hunger, I just eat, and I just try to eat enough but not crazy. Like honestly, the amount of calories that I eat in a day are mostly between 2,000 and 2,500. Like in the beginning, I was trying to like after a few months trying to get through 3,000 calories, but then I just noticed like, oh, that's a bit of a struggle. Like and since I'm most of the time I do a desk job, so I don't move that much. I noticed that by eating somewhere in that range, 2,000, 2,500 calories, it's actually, maybe 2,000 is not enough, but 2,500, like it's enough for me to slowly gain, strength, gain a little bit of muscle. And like what I did start doing like 2 months back is after every workout I eat a protein bar. That I do, but for the rest, I don't really do that much. Like sometimes what I do is like I drink like a glass of milk like during the day, but not like 1.5 liters of milk, but just like 1 or maybe 2 glasses of milk here and there. When I feel that I haven't eaten enough, then I do something like that. And sometimes, there are some days where I'm very hungry and I might eat like 3,000 calories or a little bit over that. But Actually, now I'm not counting my calories. Now it's just basically guessing a little bit. At some point, I was counting my calories, not like exactly, but like, with ChatGPT, like this, how many calories is that? Sometimes it's on a packet, and I was somehow counting it. Now I'm not really doing that anymore, but now I would say that most days I'm between that 2,000, 2,500, and I'm still gaining weight as, if you know those things like endomorphs, ectomorphs, mesomorphs. I'm clearly the ectomorph, but I feel that if you're not very active, you need less calories, and especially if you're an adult and you're not, growing anymore in height, then I feel that the calories might not have to be that crazy. Of course, if at some point I get to 80 kilos, I might need to eat a little bit more, but it's yeah. Then the next point is patience. So that's very important. Like every month I get a little bit stronger, but it does go slowly. Like I gain like maybe like 200 grams of weight now every month, which is very little, which is maybe because I'm only eating, like 2,000, 2,500 calories, but still, I'm getting stronger, and it doesn't feel forced. Like I get stronger every month, I get a little bit more muscle every month, but it goes slowly, but I like it. And sometimes I've even noticed when I've eaten a little bit less for a week that my muscle is the same, but I just lost a little bit of fat, which, it's also okay. My fat is not that low, it's just on the lower side, but it's not crazy low, so, that's also okay. But, for example, a mistake that I made was after about 3 months of training, I don't tend to drink, like, I drink alcohol, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times per year or something, but there was like a party, and yeah, I was drinking a little bit, and then the ego can come up a bit more, and there was an arm wrestling match going on, like between some guys, and I was like, I've been training for 3 months, but I was just not aware like how weak I become after that accident. Like my wrists specifically, they were very very weak, and yeah. So basically, to keep it short, like I participated in an arm wrestling match, and I'm the guy that when I participate in a match like that, I really want to win. So um, I was pushing and pushing. It was like half a minute of a match, and I felt like, oh, the guy's actually stronger than me, and I just kept on pushing, and then something happened to my wrist. Like I don't think I broke it, but I had basically wrist pain for 4 months after that, and for 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks after it, I could not train, which to me was really a pain because I love going to the gym, and I could just not train. I could not even give people a handshake, and then I went to the physio for another issue, and then it was a few months later, and then I spoke about the wrist, and she said, you might have broken it, but the thing is now it's fine. But especially when my bone density was very very low. Like there was a scale that tracked at my bone density, because I haven't explained in this video, but I also had a chronic illness for 9 years, starting at 15 years old. So since I was 15 until 24, I did basically almost zero exercise, and then I did exercise for a little bit, and then I get the accident again. So I think because of all those years I did so little exercise, my bone density became very low. So which is why, I mean, a normal person that is in his 20s that does normal wrestling matches is normally not immediately gonna like break his wrist or whatever it was that happened to the wrist. That's not really normal. That's because of my background, I feel. But still, just to warn you, like, don't go too crazy, don't get overconfident, like be patient, and slowly you'll get stronger. And yeah, then the last thing is enjoy the process. Like enjoy getting stronger. Like it's just amazing to get like a little bit stronger every month, and seeing a little bit of muscle growth. Like every now and then my girlfriend tells me like, oh wait, your back is broader, whoa, your shoulders are a bit broader. Like it's nice to hear that, but the thing is, those things are nice to hear and nice to see that you're progressing, and seeing in the gym that you can do higher weights. Like for example, 2 days ago I had a workout where I broke like I did 4 exercises, and then 3 out of 4 exercises I broke my record again. Like that's very nice to do that, and especially if you're a beginner, like the first few years, you can break your records like almost non-stop. You have to be a little bit careful because sometimes you're a bit tired, and it's better not to go and attempt breaking your records. But like it's really nice to do that. But it's even better if you enjoy going to the gym, and I really enjoy it. Like almost every second that I'm in the gym, I'm enjoying it. Like it's just a treat when I can go there, and if that's how it is, that's just amazing. Like there's a philosopher like Alan Watts that says, when it comes to music, it's not about getting to the end as fast as possible. It's not about getting to the destination as fast as possible. It's about the process. Like music is literally what happens in between the start and the end of music. That is what music. It's not the end. When the music is over, like it's over. There's nothing. And if you just rush it, like music, when you rush it, when you play the piano, just let's say you play like a Mozart or a Chopin song, and just do it like as fast as you can, and you don't focus on rhythm and all. It's not gonna sound like anything. Like it's gonna be terrible to hear that. So with the gym, of course, the result has some importance in the gym. You want to get stronger, not just for the looks, but also for like the in life, as you're moving furniture and you're strong. It's you're gonna be way more tempted to move things, for example. Otherwise, you're gonna say, no, I don't know if my back is gonna be strong enough. And this is just very nice. It gives you some confidence also. I feel that my standpoint on strength is that you can say whatever you want about male and female roles, but as a man, if you're strong like that, somehow to the body just feels right. It feels right. Like it's very strange. And nowadays, we're all working on a computer, and so many people, like if they would just do like one pull-up, they would tear something in the shoulder. Like that's crazy. Like so yeah, I feel that some strength is just like it feels natural, feels good to get stronger. And if you can get that feeling of enjoying going to the gym, enjoying the process, then that's just even better. So I hope you get something out of this video. I know it's not exhaustive, but I see it's already 32 minutes. So I think if I were to talk about everything, it would take me 3 hours. So I hope you get something out of this and enjoy your fitness journey.